Longship. When you give this ship a shoot action, roll 2 dice per mast and count each die as a separate attack. This ship has 2 cannons on each mast. This ship cannot be pin or be pinned. Cannot pin, I should say. If this ship rams, it gets +1 to her boarding rolls. When given a move action, this ship can rotate on her stern, the rear of the ship in any direction as an additional final movement segment. This ship may be given move actions when it has no mast. Its printed base move becomes S. So this is a loaded keyword, which is why longships are so expensive. They're one of the most expensive ship types in the game. Even the one master is usually cost at least 12 points. So I've got the Kettering here. For example, she's got all 3L cannons. But instead of three shots, she's got 6 essentially if she has all in range of a ship. So 2 for this mast, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she'd be shooting 6 cannons at 3L, or 6 shots. And then the other stuff in the ability is kind of forgotten about because the 2 shots per mast is by far the best and most notable ability. But to not be pinned is nice. +1 to boarding rolls is solid. And it can rotate. They can rotate on their stern like galley and schooner, just like any other rowed ship basically that has oars. And then of course, yeah. So and then it can move S when derelict, similar to oarsmen. So longships are an interesting ship type. They look kind of cool. They were kind of a little bit of an odd addition to the game in terms of the timeline because the Vikings came before the Age of Sail. But longships are usually overpriced. If you use them, you're probably going to use the 2 and 3 masters. The 1 masters are almost never worth the cost. There are some 3 masters that are pretty fearsome, like the Kettering, Loki's Revenge, and some of the Viking ones are pretty good too. So they're kind of like glass cannons or like fragile offensive combat units because they can dole out a lot of damage, but they can't take much in return. So if the Cutlass, you really need to get the first shot too, because if the Cutlass comes up and gets 2 hits, Kettering's down to 1 mast, and should only have 2 shots instead of 6. So you really want to get the first shot, so speed becomes more important, and they're still pretty fragile for the point cost though. So longships are kind of a neat addition, but I think they were poorly executed too. I forgot to say that. They shouldn't really have 2 shots per mast because it doesn't make sense historically. They should be boarding focused rather than cannon focused. So kind of a poor implementation, but in the grand scheme of the game though, they're kind of neat and they look cool. So, and some of them are pretty decent offensively.